A lot of PS4 games get a nice frame rate boost when played on the PS5. The problem is that most of them can only output to 1080p when running at 60 FPS. Not ideal if you're gaming on a 4K display, but perfect for those still rocking a regular HD television set. If you're still one of the few that has yet to upgrade, then this is the video for you. I'm going to show you 10 PS4 games that's best played on the PS5 using a 1080p monitor. Number 10. Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I love the game so much on the PS3 that I had to play it again when it was remastered on the PS4. The frame rate made a significant jump going from one generation to the next. It wasn't a perfect 60 FPS as there were some drops into the low to mid 50s, but the difference was noticeable. Playing Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on the PS5 finally brings the game to a locked 60 FPS. Even the PS4 Pro couldn't accomplish this, although to its credit it did come close. The game looks great running on a 4K display, but unfortunately it's one of those PS4 titles that can only output to 1080p. Now, if only I had a dedicated monitor to show off these games. Luckily for me, the wonderful people down at Lepow sent me the perfect device. Introducing the Lepow Z1 Gamut 15.6-inch portable monitor. First impression? Wow. I never knew PS4 games could look this good on a portable monitor. And with the power of the PlayStation 5, you can finally get that 60 FPS as well. The screen outputs the 1080p at 60 Hz. This is, by far, the best thing to use if you're gonna play PS4 games on your PS5. The image looked razor sharp when I was playing, with no traces of ghosting whatsoever. Sadly, this video does not do it justice at all. You really have to see it for yourself. My only suggestion when first setting up the monitor is to either adjust the brightness or select another image preset, as the default settings can look rather dark. Number 9. Nier Automata. With no 4K patch in sight, playing this game on the Lepow Z1 Gamut is the next best thing. Again, I have to point out, off-screen footage simply does not do this monitor justice. Trust me. And although Nier Automata isn't locked at 60 FPS on the PS5, it has far less frame drops than it does when played on the PS4 Pro. Gameplay still looked just as epic as they did if you were playing on a big screen. A common complaint I've heard about the Lepow portable monitor is that the audio can be rather tiny. I honestly think it's perfect for what you're using it for. I mean, this thing isn't gonna replace your home audio system, and truth is, it isn't meant to. I do, however, hate the way you control the volume. As a matter of fact, I hate having to adjust anything on this monitor. You have to push down on this cog wheel to bring up a menu, slide the wheel left or right to make your selection, and then push down again to confirm. It works, but it's not very precise. You sort of have to move very slowly for everything to register, or else you'll select something you didn't intend to. Luckily, once you do have everything set the way you want, there's very little need to go back and make further adjustments. But for the first couple hours, getting things the way you want can be rather annoying. Number 8. Batman Arkham City. I remember playing this on the PS3, and boy, does this take a dump on that version. Sorry guys. 60 FPS does wonders for this game. There are a few frame drops during cutscenes, but for the most part, gameplay is a stable 60 throughout. Unfortunately, you do need the disc version of this game, as this is one of those titles that can only hit 60 FPS in its unpatched form. Still, I think it's absolutely worth it. Arkham City has never looked better, especially on a 1080p monitor. If you never got to play this game on the PS3 and Xbox 360, then now is the perfect time to do so. I might just go back and play it again after I'm done with this video. Give me Arkham City over Arkham Knight any day of the week. Number 7. Shenmue 3. Say what you want about the gameplay, but there's no denying how amazing this game looks on a portable monitor. Colors just really pop off the screen. Again, the footage here does not do it justice. As I mentioned in a previous video, Shenmue 3 on the PlayStation 5 comes in at a locked 60 FPS. For all you fans out there, this is Shenmue heaven. Refusing to change with the times, Shenmue 3 seems like a game that's still stuck in the late 90s. It's both a curse and a blessing, depending on who you ask. For those unfamiliar with the franchise or have never played the first two games, will absolutely detest Shenmue 3. Common complaints I keep hearing are, why does the game look like this? Why do the characters speak so slow? Why am I searching through cabinets? Why does he run like that? Guys, that's just how it is. That's like asking me why Street Fighter plays like a 2D fighter. Because it is. One thing I found myself doing a lot lately, especially with this game, is playing with headphones on. You'll find that on the left side of the monitor is a headphone jack, which allows you to hear Shenmue 3 in all its monotone spoken glory. Oh yeah. Number 6. Steep. Guys, I don't know if I'm ever gonna go back and play games on my 4K TV ever again. This portable monitor is just so freaking beautiful. And I'm not just saying that because I got Lepow to send me a free unit. Honest. Any kind of imperfection that might have been apparent when playing this game on a bigger screen is no longer visible. The smaller display just makes everything look so good. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Did I also mention this game runs at a locked 60 FPS on the PS5? Well, it does. A huge improvement if you're coming over from the PS4 Pro, which only managed to reach somewhere between 45 and 55 FPS. I'm so tempted to just go back and try out all my other consoles on this thing. It is, however, a bummer that the monitor only takes HDMI and Type-C connections, or else I tried hooking up my original Xbox. Now, can you imagine Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate on this thing? Oh wait, isn't that backwards compatible on the Xbox 360? So far, every game I've tried out looks great, although I did notice something strange when launching Steep for the first time. For some reason, the color would look completely washed out. My guess was that it had to do with one of the settings, and sure enough, it was exactly that. If you're thinking about picking up this monitor and come across this problem, here's a quick, easy fix. When you're on the PS5 dashboard, go to the settings at the top right, select Screen and Video, and set Deep Color Output to off. This should fix the color issue the monitor may have when playing some games. Number 5. MediEvil. It's a shame this remake never got the attention it deserved, because it's actually really well done. The only explanation I can think of is that it might not have the brand appeal as, say, maybe Crash Bandicoot or Spiral. I played the PS1 version of MediEvil rather late in the PlayStation's life cycle, so by then the graphics really didn't hold up too well. I enjoyed the game overall, but the outdated visuals really made it stand out, and not in a good way. The PS4 remake helps alleviate this issue. The visuals have completely been remade and they look absolutely gorgeous. Imagine Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and you'll get an idea of how big a jump you're getting in this remake. The layout and structure of the levels still remain faithful to the original game, but everything else has been given that beautiful next-gen look. The new added cutscenes also help illustrate the story a lot better, giving you more insight on the world of MediEvil. The performance also does one better, especially if you're on the PS5. It's actually uncapped on last-gen consoles with frequent frame drops, but on the PS5, you get a rock-solid 60 FPS. It might not have the pop culture appeal like Sony's previously owned franchises, but it's definitely worth a look if you're a fan of the original. Number 4. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Now here's a game that took me by complete surprise. Not only was it inspired by Norse mythology, but it deals with psychosis and its devastating effects on the human mind. Truly a unique experience you rarely find in games today. Pushing the boundaries of art and self-awareness, it's a clear indication that video games are so much more than just mindless shooting. Play this one with surround sound and you really feel like you've got voices in your head. In terms of performance, it's not a locked 60, but it does remain steady throughout most of the game. Playing on the PS5, however, does result in some minor glitches. It's nothing major or game-breaking, but it is noticeable at times. Luckily, it doesn't detract from the overall game. Visually, Hellblade looks gorgeous on a portable 1080p display. I feel like I say that about every game on this list for some reason. Everything has a very real, yet fantasy quality to it. It's like you don't know whether you're awake or still dreaming, which I guess sort of falls in line with the theme of the game, right? What do you guys think? If you're in for an experience, then Hellblade is your ticket. The sequel was just recently announced for the Series X, and in my opinion, one of the few compelling reasons to ever consider buying an Xbox. Number 3. Shadow of the Colossus. Oh my goodness, who knew this game could look so good on a 15.6-inch screen? Like, what's even the point of having a PS Vita when you've got a portable monitor and a PlayStation 5? Just kidding. Put down your pitchforks. It's a shame you guys can't see what the game looks like running off screen, because it really is amazing. Everything is just so smooth and, what's the word? Buttery? Is that it? Shadow of the Colossus ran beautifully on the PS4 Pro, but PS5 is where you'll find it at a locked 60 FPS. I feel like the gameplay mechanics have been improved simply because of the smoother frame rate. Like, controlling the character is easier overall. Yeah, he still falls and stumbles like an idiot sometimes, but it doesn't feel like you're moving underwater anymore. Running and climbing just feels less aggravating, to be honest. It really goes to show how important frame rate really is to a game nowadays. I know there's a few left resisting to upgrade, but please, I urge you, if you are able to secure a PS5, then give the new performance option a chance. You won't regret it. Number 2. Killzone Shadowfall. You know what? I think this game looks better on a portable monitor than it does on my 4K television set. Don't get me wrong, it looks really nice on the big screen, but because the resolution maxes out at 1080p, the image can look a little jaggy in some parts. Playing on a smaller screen eliminates that issue. On top of that, the PlayStation 5 bumps up the frame rate to a locked 60 FPS. I mean, what more could you want? Just make sure you uncheck the 30 FPS cap in the display options. If you're a big fan of the franchise and have played Killzone Mercenary on the PS Vita to death, then give Shadowfall a try. Number 1. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. Alright, so this isn't exactly a PS4 game, but I just felt like including it on the list because it desperately needs to be played on a 1080p monitor. As the name implies, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition was released on the PS5 with a few enhancements. First, there's the 120 FPS mode, which if you've got the right television set, allows you to go beyond 60 FPS. Unfortunately, I can't show this off because I don't have the right TV, so sorry about that. And second is the ray tracing mode, a key feature of next gen and one I think you guys should really check out. There's two modes that includes ray tracing. One is the ray tracing graphics mode, which runs the game at a dynamic 4K but at an uncapped frame rate. Gameplay performance varies wildly, usually jumping from 30 to 60 and anywhere in between. If you're a veteran of Devil May Cry, you'll know this is a less than ideal way to play. What you want is the second option, which is ray tracing performance mode. Here the ray tracing effects are slightly reduced, but you get a more consistent frame rate. It's not locked at 60 unfortunately, but it does a better job at holding steady. Also, pixel count is reduced to 1080p instead of dynamic 4K, which if you're playing on a smaller screen shouldn't make any difference. In my opinion, this is the game to play on a portable 1080p monitor. It looks beautiful, it runs great, and it gives you a little taste of what next gen has to offer. Listen, if you want to see what other PS4 games look great on the PS5, then check out the video on the screen right now. It'll show you how frame rates have been improved as well as any jumps in visual detail. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.